parents in general and people in general, you don't have to have read the entire book, um, or really maybe any portion of the book to come and reflect on some of the questions that Glennon poses. And there's a possibility for another meeting if the group is interested. So this might just be a part one. Come and connect with some other parents and really dive into some questions that are going to make us dig deep and hopefully be connecting points for all of us.
That was an excellent, spontaneous, shameless plug, Rebecca. Thank you.
Shameless plug. And look at the cover. It's a gorgeous book.
It is a gorgeous cover. It is probably.
It is a really good, quick, easy read. It's a very quick, easy read. And I'm partway through part 2. So I'm getting there. Just finding the time to read is,
Yeah, isn't it?
Schedule it.
I feel your pain on that. I loved reading. I was in book clubs before, but this is like with so many children, it is hard to get back to, but I'm so glad that I have. So
this is forcing me back into book clubs. So, and Grand Valley State University alumni just sent out that they're going to start a book club, a virtual book club. And so they've got a book picked and it sounds really interesting. So I'm like, okay, I've got to get myself back to that state.
Yeah. And you guys know that, I did invite Glennon Doyle to the discussion. You've probably seen that. So we'll see. I added her to the registrants for the event, and we'll see. We'll see if she comes. But they do that. They do crash their book clubs and groups that discuss. So Rebecca and I have met to plan how we're going to roll with it. It's not just show up and say, hey, what do we do? We've actually thought of a few ways to engage parents in the discussion of the book. So we're excited to have Thursday night, and we don't care what's in your cup. So join us. All right, snow sculpture stroll. This is our event with Norte, and since we last met, I know I've put some stuff out there. Maybe you've seen the graphic on Facebook. The yard signs are in process for procurement, and this is just this opportunity to kind of take this idea of going outside and playing in the snow and give it a community kick. Give it a school kick, give it a group kick of any kind, whether it's your neighborhood, a church group, the lake and naturescape in the winter. It could be so many different things. And Norte's on board. We've packed their bags, their swag bags. They've got totes with books that nobody's really received yet. They get a copy of DJ's Busy Day if they pick up their bag through Norte. Early childhood, our infant toddler team or home visitors from early on, they will also be able to take bags out to families, just to get this idea of kids outside in the winter walking and talking with their families. Pretty simple concept. Now, the people who will take it up a notch, like for example, I'm Joanne Miracle, they seem to think that a whole elementary school might create a sculpture garden, and it could be like each classroom in the school has a place to create their snow sculptures, weather permitting, of course. But to create this little extra buzz about providing a physical, interactive experience for our youngest children. So whether it's relevant to an elementary school to get the talking is teaching materials, that doesn't matter. It's, are they willing to provide something that that families with young children, younger siblings who are waiting for their older siblings to get out of school, or they go in the morning after they drop their siblings off. Schools, I think, are great places for this to happen. Not everyone lives in a neighborhood, so we've got to be creative about how we're bringing this to families, and so that it's a little more inclusive. It's not a Traverse City destination just because that's where the Norte Clubhouse is or the Norte Wheelhouse. So it's trying to think broadly. The yard signs will draw attention to that this is a walking and talking movement. So anything you guys want to add or say about that?
Missy?
Where did you say? Sorry, go ahead, Dana.
Well, I have a thought. It just kind of popped into my head. What if we did something along the lines of meet me at the playground instead of meet me at playgroup, and have some people jump in and do something at each playgroup location, or the playgroup locations that are still available that would have the snow, like the Lake Ann Naturescape has the snow. So what if we did a meet me here instead of coming to playgroup, meet me here, we're going to be outside, bring, make sure you wear your snow gear and come and help build a snowman.
Yeah, I think, however, I think Lake Ann is the perfect place to do that, and to have maybe set up, different, have the sculpture garden concept. I kind of feel like would be so fun. And as far as setting up actual gatherings, even if it is outside, I think there's a little ways to go yet before we're comfortable like throwing that concept out, but I think it's a good one to hang on to, because we are thinking about a larger scale. We started talking about a larger scale early childhood event for families come late spring, early summer, and we are edging closer to that gathering, idea. But yes, I think Lake Ann is a great place to start. I think we should start with it and see, you could make a come and create the sculpture garden today, kind of just a one-timer kind of event, and see how it goes. It could be, once we're ready and we get those steps in place, let's do it. All right, so
wait, Missy, before you move on, where did you say that you had shared this? Is it on the 5 to 1 Facebook page, or I don't think I've seen that visual with the Let's Talk Snow.
I did put it, let me stop this share, and I'm going to share the website and just go back to that page where you can see a little bit better the detail around that event. So let me go here.
I would just love to be able to take that visual that you had there, the orangish one, and just post it to my neighborhood Facebook page.
Yes, and here is, so this is where I'm going to get to our Great Start Kids, and I might, oh goodness, don't need that to hear that again. So on here, Rebecca, what I will do, I think this will be really helpful, is for, I'll upload a PDF to the website. So right here on Snow Sculpture Stroll under 5 to 1, you can actually just copy this graphic, and you can save it on your computer and use it to upload. There will be a bag going out to the early childhood. There's 1,000 bags going out. Those of you with kids in GSRP, you already received the music one, as Rob showcased there. There's a snow one going out, and this flyer will be in it. So that, but if you're not in GSRP and you're not, there are some, I'm not sure if providers are going to get them or not, but that's where you guys come in to help with the parent support signs, because that's how this word can get out physically with friends, and it can also get out digitally too. So the event is, I don't know if it's all the way set up yet on our Facebook page, but it's promoted on our website right now, which is free range for you guys to jump on and share it however you want. And if a PDF is more helpful, I can get you that.
No, that's fine. I just didn't think about doing that, but that's great.
Right. And
yeah, do it.
It's just a nice, easy place. I know this is kind of, I've inherited the updating of the website and just making it what it needs to be to keep people in touch digitally and virtually. So so that was the first page, and then the parent support signs are where we're going to go next with this. Dana and I are working on piecemeal solidarity. We covered that a pretty good ground in the collaborative, so I'm not really going to jump into that. I know all of you guys were on that call. So parent support signs, these are 3 designs that are already done. This is where you guys have some decision-making power. I know in our last meeting, you had some other ideas for sentiments, which graphically, we could change it up if we need to. So I wanted to put that out there. We have no one signed up. There's only a link to help with the project. Right now, Great Start Parents is the organizational mechanism for this project. We have neighborhood centers. Kalkaska has now signed on. Interlochen has now signed on. So some of those bodies that we weren't sure about last month, they're excited to jump in and have their space be the place where they can offer signs there for people who come in, if that's what they're doing right now. Or you can use it as a parent, Great Start Parents can use it as a staging area to store the signs, pick up the signs, deliver the signs, meet someone there to give them a sign if they're not open. That's kind of the idea. So knowing that, I'm going to go back to sharing my other screen. So hang on. And with this one, let's just hope my order is the same. Let's see what we've got. Oh, hold on. I'm going to go forward and then come back. Okay. So these are the slogans you guys came up with. Awesome Parent Lives Here. You've got this. I think that's one already. Just breathe. But some of the longer ones might be tough to get in as an impactful yard sign for someone to see from a distance. But I wanted to open it up for your thoughts. What do you guys think?
I really like the first one, an awesome parent lives here.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that sends different sentiments than a
Yeah.
statement that we're saying to parents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're saying that to the parent, but you're also boasting
Yeah.
to the
You also
community.
put that up in their yard. So, I mean, like you just swing by, you don't tell them, just put it out in their yard and they can come home from work or a long day, you know, and see that. And I'm sure it would lift their spirits.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Rebecca. I think the "we're proud of you" feels a little patronizing, maybe, or I don't know, does it? I think sometimes when you use that "I'm proud of you," I don't know if that always goes over so well when it's adult to adult. But maybe, so your idea, maybe replacing that one with an awesome parent lives here.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we feel when we're saying we're proud of you that we're also parents. So it's a parent to a parent saying it. But if a parent is receiving it, they may not necessarily connect that it's a fellow lateral person saying, hey, I'm also going through the same things. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me. And I think that I feel like that first bullet point, I would be proud to put a sign like that in my yard.
Uh-huh. Right, even for your spouse, right? I mean, or you know, I think it's great.
It is lengthy though.
It is. So it might be like leave out the "hey parents." But I can graphically reorganize some of these with some of the talking is teaching parts. I like the bright colors. I think it'll stand out nicely against the snow. It's cheerful. But yeah, thinking about what could go in the purple, or would you leave it out?
I might just leave it out
Uh-huh.
because of how long the statement is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there the possibility of on the other side of the yard sign putting one of the let's talk about visuals?
Yeah, I love that idea. I thought about that too. What do you think about that? Which one would you pick if we did?
Maybe the unique, maybe
Talk about what
community, maybe family. Yeah.
Okay. Would anyone else have ideas on that?
Is there any of them that are about narrating what you're doing?
Say a little more about that, Rob.
Like when you go to do something with your kid, if you just start talking about what you're doing, you're narrating through it. Like, hey, we're going to add flour. Now I want you to add this part. I want you to add some sugar, or we are picking up our toys and putting them in the toy box. You know, you're not just doing something. It's like as you're doing it with the kid. I mean, if you're going to take a stroll, hey, let's put one foot in front of the other and walk this way to this sculpture. And
Right. So what we do have, Rob, that will go inside the bags is the tip sheet for families that kind of outlines some of those concepts like narration, and as you go through just those relational kinds of bits. I'm going to look at the Talking is Teaching website right now. What makes you unique is one that came to mind that Rebecca said, but as far as like the colorful graphics, like let's talk about the world, or let's talk about those variety of topics. I was just going to peek at that.
Hey, Missy.
Yeah.
Missy, someone wants let into this.
Oh,
Someone wants let in.
thank you. It's hard to see this one. Let me make sure. I'm not seeing anybody.
Okay. It's one of the email or the text message that you just sent out.
Oh, let's see. Thank you for that group. Okay, let me just check and see. All right.
I don't have everybody's number saved as a person.
No,
so
that's all set. That's resolved. That is resolved. Thank you, though. I have a hard time keeping an eye on the 50 different ways you can get messages during a meeting. Hold on, I'm clicking through this so quickly, thinking I was doing something else. So I was looking to see if there was one more about family. There's also the let's share about kindness is an idea.
I love that.
Yeah, anything that includes kindness is always great.
That could be really cool. I don't know if Britton Banner would kill me for adding 6 different designs to what they thought was a 2 design job, but I'm going to try to see what I can push through. I like the kindness idea. And you
what about curious little minds want to learn, or curious my little mind is ready for learning?
Okay. So
something along that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna I don't have that same website in front. So, all right, I will work with this. I'm going to see what Britton Banner will let us go. But as far as, so if we were to, what I'm hearing from the group, oh, there's one coming in now. Okay. What I'm hearing from you guys is let's see if we can switch the parents, hey parents, we're proud of you, and just make that be an awesome parent lives here. And then are the other 2, do we feel good about those other 2? I keep switching. I want to move my video, but just so I can see. You've got this, you're doing great, an awesome parent lives here, or would you want to replace anything else with something else we dreamed up?
Well, I'm wondering if instead of you've got this, we could say, instead of hey parents, it could say, just remember, breathe, or something along those lines. Because I like the just breathe, but just instead of it saying, hey, parents, just breathe, maybe say, don't forget to breathe, or I don't know. I'm just.
Right.
You like to just breathe, it go better than the, we're proud of you. I was also thinking maybe you could do toddlers have the best conversations.
Okay, say more about that.
Well, if you ever talk to a toddler, like the way they see things and the way, it's like when you really get into the conversations with them, the honesty of it and the creativity that they have, just, it's great for the talking.
Yeah.
Talking with a toddler, they'll keep you going.
I know, they're so funny too. Don't you wish there was just a funny one of like the goofy things that kids say with like a big baby head, or I don't know. There's so many funny things that kids say that could be its own campaign in itself, Rob.
Yeah, well, they've also, their expressions, and just, if they make you laugh, how they'll repeat it because they want to just keep making you laugh.
Yeah, I think one that's aimed at kids, like I really want to be like, this is really great messaging for parents, but so I want to keep it aimed at the parent, but yet the overlay of talking is teaching is super important. I'll see what I can devise, but is there do we want to have a motion to like ditch the "we're proud of you" and replace it with "an awesome parent lives here"? Do we want to formally kind of vote on that?
I would vote to ditch it.
Okay, so it's a motion is to get rid of "we're proud of you" and replace it with "an awesome parent lives here." Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All in favor? Thumbs up. Okay. Any opposed? All right. All right. We will get rid of "we're proud of you."
And
Yeah.
Missy, the other question I have on these, because it says, "Hey parents." Well, what happens if it's a single parent?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess it could also be looked at it as, hey, any parent driving by, it could be for you too. So maybe that more inclusive. I know parents on, hey parent, like I don't know, that sounds kind of strange, does it? Or am I just
Now, if you think about it, if you're the parent pulling in and you got all the kids in the car, if you're reading it and it says, "Hey parent,"
mm-hmm.
it's like, "Hey parents," it's like, "Oh, well, let me get my spouse and bring them out there so they could read it too." And I mean, it's not like this is going to,
Yeah.
I think it's just, "Hey parent, we're proud of you." It's to that parent that's reading it at the moment. So I don't think the S really is that necessary.
Mm-hmm. Any other
Because
thoughts?
this is intended to be gifted as a surprise, correct? Like someone is nominated, you receive the sign for them, you go put it out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would also
'Cause-
make dropping the S better too, because yeah, if we're putting in there, hey parent, you're awesome in their yard, then it's not going to matter so much. I mean, you do it for your spouse, if you've got the asset in there, it's like, oh, I did this for you and me, so I could tell myself I'm awesome.
Mm-hmm. So we could just do, because I really think it is important to say parent somewhere on it, because this is affirming for parents, right? Whether it's a single parent, married parents, any kind of parents, it's all of them. So to keep it inclusive, but to also make it very targeted is important just to parents. Would we just want to do one and just "an awesome parent lives here," period? And just do one, and then, or
I
do
kind
we
of
like
like the sentiments of "Hey parents," because when people are walking by and reading the sign, if they themselves are parents, they're also given the reminder.
yeah.
They can, soak in some of the sentiment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you did take the awesome parent thing and just had it as, "Hey parents, you're awesome," and that way you could kind of put that sign anywhere instead of just a residence. You'd be able to
Mm-hmm.
put it by a school, by a church.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was the two-sided sign? We just make one two-sided sign and we say "an awesome parent lives here" on one side, and the other side says, "Hey parents, you got this," or whatever the other one is that we want to say. I don't know. I'm just throwing
Right.
that out there.
Yep, totally fine. Throw them out. Throw out the ideas.
I think if you put that out there at a church or something, though, the "awesome parent lives here" wouldn't quite fit.
That's true too.
That was my thinking. That's why
Mhm.
I was thinking maybe we should just put "you're awesome." So it's, "Hey parents, you're awesome."
Mm-hmm.
And then you could still go and put it in, a parent's front yard, and it would still apply.
Mhm.
They'd still see it, but that way, yeah, you have the diversity of putting it anywhere.
Yeah, that's probably why these signs evolved the way they did, is because an organization could put it out front to support their parents and show that message of affirmation. Um, How important is it to us that the signs are versatile beyond the apparent residence?
I think I think if we put it just on residents, then you're kind of limiting, especially like main roads. Because I was thinking, Isaac's preschool, the Platte River Preschool, wants to kind of support the sculpture from talking to them, and they're going to continue to support the Let's Talk stuff. And if we could put those signs out in front of the school, you know, that's a lot of people who are driving by seeing it, pulling up to pick up their kids, they see it. You know, so I think being able to do it not just in people's yards or put them up at churches or out there by Grobenzi, along the road by Grobenzi.
So if the process for this is nomination, the concept behind it right now is just nomination of parents. It doesn't really, it's not really, hey, organizations, support the parents that are, you know, I think if we're going to run a yard sign campaign, that maybe it needs to stay yard sign. And
okay, yeah, then you could stick with the awesome parent lives here.
And I don't have to be right, but it does change the nature of what we've set out to do a bit.
Okay. I just figured these days too, it's kind of harder. Like, I don't know any of Isaac's preschool class friends or family like I did with Avery and with Izzy. I don't know any of them these days. And I find that's a lot harder to know these things. You know, it's a very difficult stage to go through where you're so isolated from everybody else. So it's like,
yeah, I hear you, Rob, and that's so important. And what that makes me really think about on our nomination form, that it could be a whole church that says we have 15 parents who've had babies that we haven't seen them, we don't know them, but we have their contact information. We want 20 signs to go and give to the parents of our congregation. So I think in that sense, we could open it up to those groups to get the signs and distribute them themselves if they wanted to do that. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, because I think that's kind of where we're at, especially with the toddlers and, you know, babies. Because I mean, not having that community or getting involved in that community, I think is going to be really challenging for those new parents that are like, okay, now I've got a baby and I'm sending my toddler to preschool, but I can't meet anybody or know what's going on except for what the teacher is saying. And so, I mean, we got to get a way to where, yeah, they can, those parents, especially those early years, are getting this. And, you know, it's not, I can't think, oh, well, I can drive by so-and-so's house and drop this off. Like, I got to know Crystal through the preschool. Most everybody I know is through the preschools, and that's not happening.
Yeah, it's so hard, isn't it?
I did have something to say. I didn't know if you guys could hear me or not. I'm hooked up to my car. Hi, yeah, I've been here. I've been listening. I think this is wonderful, and I definitely think I like Missy's idea of how to just focus on nominating parents, especially right now. The parents being able to not only be nominated by other people and then seeing the sign that you can't get unless other people recognize you for what you're doing, and not just like, oh, they're just splattered all over town, you know, will help parents feel a little bit more confident right now, especially with a lot of I know I'm struggling with having 3 kids and COVID and feeling very trapped and feeling like I'm never doing anything right. So I think having the signs out for the parents to be nominated is the best choice than just throwing them all over town.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That, you know, that does add meaning to it when you know somebody put your name out there somewhere to be personally recognized. There is some weight in that.
So we definitely need to talk to churches and the preschools and get a list and see where we can put these, and if they can give out that information too.
Well, and the thing is that they don't have to give it out, Rob. They can just request the signs from us, right?
Okay.
So that's the idea, is that we don't want to make this harder than it needs to be. We want to allow for, do you know a parent who is amazing, or just working so hard during this pandemic and needs a little, encouragement. That's, if they know somebody, chances are they do, they can just get this link and register. And that's where we need to figure out really is not how do we get these signs to individual parents, but how do we use each other and our neighborhood center network to have the signs and say, okay, this person's been nominated. Rob, Grow Benzie, or Doreen, Grow Benzie. We need a sign out 2 miles down the road from Grow Benzie. Can somebody down there go do it? It's more designating the channels to distribute these things. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And I was thinking that maybe if we just stick to like 2 signs, one that says, that awesome parent lives here, that could cover the single parents. And then the other one, hey parents, you've got this, and that could go in the other yards.
And really, they should be interchangeable, right? You don't necessarily want to get into the weeds too much on choose the design that you'd like to send to the parent. That could get a little cumbersome, I think. But so if we have, so I guess where I want to think about this, our time is 1 o'clock. So we've got 30 minutes. I'll straighten around the design, knowing the preferences that I've heard thus far and working with Britton. I will kind of prepare to get these signs printed with the adaptations that we kind of voted on. The next leg of this is I would like if one of you, we have the form where this information, it's in the process, but someone too who likes Google Forms maybe to be the not the data wrangler, but the person who would see the notifications that someone's been notified and then be able to be the person that says, all right, I'm going to look at all the neighborhood center contacts and say, oh, this one's for Kalkaska. I'm sending this to John. This one's from the Great Lakes Children's Museum. I'm going to send this to, Camera or whoever. So it's kind of that the a parent to kind of be the network center for distribution. And of course, I'm right here to support. And if you don't know Google Forms or anything, that's not a big deal. That's something we can work on. What do you guys think about? Because we need kind of a wrangler kind of a person.
I can try.
Is that Camera?
Yeah, I can try. I'm starting to get more time on my hands, and I've been wanting to get back in and be a part of this. And I am home most of the time anyways, so I'm more than happy to try.
Awesome. Okay, so Camera, let's pretend for a minute, everybody else, let's pretend that Camera is going to, Camera and I will develop the form together. All right, and we'll know which neighborhood centers we have yard signs at. The signs will all come in. I will put them in the back of my minivan, and I will just be ready to distribute them to our neighborhood center, distribution points. Are there any of you, because I think we really need a parent lead, and we do have some other leads, like Tracy Trushke said she would help in Gron. Barb Keelan and Beth Woods, they've got Lake Ann covered. Are there any of you guys, knowing our 5-to-1 neighborhood center locations, who would be willing to be a parent contact to work with the host organization to get the yard signs distributed for that particular area?
I live in Gron, so I can help out with that too.
Okay, so Camera's got Gron.
Chums, one of the two. I don't know.
Rob, did you have?
Yeah, I think both me and Doreen were willing to support doing the distribution. So
okay, so you want me to put you on for like Grow Benzie and Grow Benzie, just Grow Benzie?
Yeah, well, I could talk to Kimmy over at Cognition too, because I'm going to talk to her about your culinary thing and see
okay.
if that could be a spot to pick these up. So
okay, that's a good idea.
And then I could also, drive, distribute them, whatnot.
Betsy Valley could work a little differently. So I have to meet Cheryl Corey over there. But the school might do things a little bit differently, but I will make sure as the neighborhood center, because I know you guys, and they don't really have a lead parent, but I could reach back around. Who was the one parent that was her name Amber too, Rob? Do you remember? What was her name? You're muted. Hang on.
Now I got to bring another finger down, right?
Right.
I think it was Amber. It's been a while.
Yeah. How about I'll call Cheryl Corey and we'll find out if that's still a place of they want to just have some signs. Kalkaska's one where we don't really have a lead parent right now, but they want signs and they're going to distribute them however they want. So, but I really think having a parent there is awesome because you guys know parents and you can say, hey, let's, especially in your own communities, right? And sharing it with your teachers. Rebecca, what would you feel about Great Lakes Children's Museum, or do you not? It's okay. I know you're gonna have a baby soon.
Yeah, I'm happy to help out as long as I can.
All right, we'll see what we get because they've got Tom and stuff there too. But I think it would just be really great to have a parent, boots on the ground, living near the neighborhood center to just be that person, to know where they're kept. You can get there and go deliver one maybe, or tell somehow there's, different neighborhood centers have different capabilities too. Like Interlaken has their own volunteer base. Volunteers aren't doing anything right now. So this is a great way to integrate the volunteers of those organizations, and the neighborhood centers have been primed on this, but they might need another just help and understanding from the parent in their community. So that would be terrific. I will, Dana, I know you're always there in Lake Ann, but I know that you've had your share of data wrangling projects too. Is there anything that you're thinking about with this, Dana, that resonates with you?
Well, I'm willing to help Camera with things that she might need help with the whole data wrangling. I can sit down with her if needed. Okay. And then I live in Interlaken, but I do a lot of things in Lake Ann. So if you need a connector in Interlaken, you've got me to do what needs to be done.
Awesome. That's so terrific. I'm looking at our listing of neighborhood centers, and really, Carrie Wicker's also Buckley. We don't really have to worry about that. She's already requested the signs for all of Buckley's GSRP parents. So Buckley's all set.
I'm trying to join on my computer, so I'm trying to switch.
Oh, there you go. I saw you. Mantelona's another one we kind of need to follow up on. I'll figure that one, see if we can get someone there. And otherwise, I think we look really good. That's great. That is good progress on our yard sign campaign, you guys. Awesome.
If Rob wants to focus strictly on cognition, I'll focus strictly on Grow Benzie. That way we can get them both covered.
Okay, awesome. And the goal will be like, I'm imagining, and I'll work maybe with Camera as we get the Google form set up to nominate parents. Maybe between Dana and Camera and I, we can put our heads together about what's our process. When we get a lead and we tell you, hey, Rob, here's this parent in, from Cognition, they want to pick their sign up in Cognition, where, here's your delivery window. Like once you get the name and the information, you've got, say, a week to get it delivered or something like that. So kind of establish our process like that. But that's kind of what I have in mind. Do you guys think anything like once you get, what would feel good to you if you got notice that, oh, there's somebody in my area that needs a yard sign? What would be a nice window of time to have to get it done?
I think a week or less should be plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a week. I mean, I know some days my kids come home and there are a lot more of a handful than other days. So going, okay, whatever one's going through, I can deal with that and then get out tomorrow to take care of it.
Okay, that's good to know. The other thing is if we get swamped, like let's say Missy tells United Way that we need a press release about this, and United Way puts a press release out, and then there's 200 parents that sign up for yard signs. Well, not only does that deplete our inventory, but it's a big rush. And even if there is a week to do it, it might be tough. Know that we can, if we get into a pickle with a delivery of a large scale, I can round up United Way volunteers and they can put together an event to go and distribute these. So know that please do not feel pressure like, oh my gosh, I just volunteered my van to drive all over, this particular county. That's not the case. We can nab volunteers if we need them through United Way. So that's going to really help us out with this kind of a project. What other questions do you guys have before we stop talking about this?
I actually had a concern bouncing off of what you just said.
Okay.
Do you feel like there would be a situation where this whole thing would be taken advantage of and something like that would happen and it would be to the point where you're not even sure if most of these people exist?
That's a good point. I guess if we were giving out $100 Meijer gift cards, I might think a little differently about our strategy there. But you're right. If there was but you bring up a good point, Camera. If there's a group, I think it would be really important to disclose, like in the nomination process, that we have a picture of the kit that we're offering. Clearly, there's not, full of gold coins or anything, but the other piece of it is to give people groups, again, give that group the power to do this for their constituents, right? So so does that address your concern, or is there another angle of it that is still making you wonder about that?
If it went with, like, say, this church on this street that we obviously know is there, and they vote in these parents, but I'm saying like I can go in there and put in like 400 people.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know that you'd want to do that, but I think that would be really important as the data
Obviously.
people. Like, and if you guys ever ran into something like, oh my God, Missy, somebody wants 50 signs for their, Boy Scout troop or something, like,
Bring it here.
we'd have to kind of monitor the nature of the requests too. So I guess that kind of needs to happen with with you and Dana and me, as we maybe need to confer on the survey, the form that's out there. Is there questions that you guys think could be asked on the form to like maybe minimize that kind of thing happening?
Sorry, I'm trying to write everything down. Now, how far can we go on the nominations? Obviously, we can ask their name and we're going to need their address. Can we get a reason why they're being nominated?
I guess so. It doesn't hurt to ask. I mean, what is this for? Just to like call out the awesomeness, other than receiving a sign, I think it might be nice. I think we want to keep it simple too, but
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. What does the group think?
Well, that would give a reason and not a spammer. If there was something where you had to type in a reason, then you wouldn't get a bunch of spam. I think that's what one of Camera's concerns is.
They have to put forth effort, they're not going to spam.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the other part of it is they have to live in one of the 5 counties, right? They have to live in Antrim, Grand Traverse, Leland, Albenzie, or Kalkaska counties. So,
and do we want to limit this to they have to have a child that is under the age of 8? I
would say that, I think under 8 and under, the child, and if they don't, just say, maybe we'll find a way to honor those older parents of older children later, but Are we going to get picky if it's a 9-year-old and it's a parent who's been through hell? No. And so I think we can kind of gauge it like that. But as a parent of a teenager, I don't know. We'll have to kind of see where it goes. It's something new. So we don't know what we're going to get necessarily, but it is good to think about what are some of the barriers or challenges that could arise if we don't think out our system well enough.
Well, the graphics are very elementary.
Yeah.
So we don't want to have that sign in a yard with just teenagers.
Yeah, that's probably the beauty of keeping the design a little more juvenile, right? This is not mommy's sippy cup with the, wine drinking club or whatever it is. This is very focused on parents of small children. And so I think that is an important distinction. All right, guys, good job. We are within 15 minutes of our closeout time. I think I've got some great ideas. Rebecca, or I'm sorry, Camera, have you taken a stab at a Google form before?
I can try.
All right.
Learning new things.
All right. How about this? I will just set it up with a title and make you a collaborator on it so we can both have our eyes on it. Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. All right, I will set up a link to that. Dana, we'll call you in to look it over once we have a few questions down. How does that sound? And then we'll get our nomination process up and running. I'd love to have a draft of this up there to have people start nominating February 1st. That gives us a week, and that'll give me an extra week in getting the signs printed according to our group's specifics that we've asked for. So I think I feel pretty good about where we are with this. You guys feeling pretty good about it? A small and mighty dissemination plan. Fantastic. I think when people start seeing these, it's going to draw some attention. All right, so we've gone through this. I don't think there's anything new. We've already gotten you guys to know who's going to do what. And there's no neighborhood center that is unfamiliar with this project at this point. So everybody should have something here. And I've heard from almost everybody that needed confirmation. All right, so it's not Happy Holidays. It's going to be Happy Valentine's Day. Sorry, I didn't switch that. But our next meeting will be February 26th, 8 to 9 p.m. Please bring a friend next month. I think that would be.
Missy, is this last year?
Oh yeah, this is last year. Last year, 2020. Sorry, my brain I did actually change the date, but I didn't change the year. I changed everything else for the year. Missy, get your brain working. So that's where we're going to go. It's an evening meeting. So again, don't care what's in your cup if you need something different in your cup in the evening, but it is one of our later meetings. So we like to mix it up day of the week, time of the day, so that we're not always asking people to come at the same time if it's not convenient. So from there, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Anything else on your mind, you guys, or things you want to share, things going on in your communities that you think would be important to note?
Just a thought, could this nomination form be emailed directly to GSRP teachers and staff?
It could, yes. The link can go anywhere, and it doesn't have to be a parent who nominates another parent, right? The nominator could be anybody. So with that, Dana, that does kind of make you think, well, anybody can get ahead of these. Maybe 300 yard signs isn't enough. And more good news. If 300 yard signs isn't enough, Seth at United Way said he will buy us more yard signs. So we have a backup if we run out. So volunteers, Meyer gift cards, more yard signs. Hey, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good gig.
I was super excited to have United Way come on board with our project, because they have such a unique way of gathering people that are already there in the community, between everything that they do with their volunteer database to it's volunteers that award the grants that are submitted. It's citizen action team, all of that fun stuff.
I'm with you, Dana, that they have the power to mobilize people in ways that Great Start has not been able to, and people who aren't parents, which is really an important thing, especially when we're talking about supporting early childhood, because the people who are in it are often not the people who can serve it, right? Oh, hello, Jackson.
He can't hear you because I got my headphones in.
Oh, all right. I'm just waving. Hi, Jackson.
She's waving to you.
So, with that, you guys, is there anything else for the good of the order? Anything you want to gripe about, or anything that you've gone to the community, out in the community somewhere, and it was the most parent unfriendly place or amazing experience?
So like a week before you showed up in my house with the bags, Eli brought one home and I freaked out. And I'm like, no way. And then he didn't understand. I told my husband and he didn't really care, but I was excited. And then I made my stepdad take one home and like put the magnets on your fridge and tell people. Probably won't, but I'll put the magnets up.
Good. Yeah, the items are kind of useful, and they're graphically appealing, even if kids are drawn to them. So
Lucas went through every bag and took all the balls and hid them. So we've been talking on where we hid them so we can find them.
It's inspired conversation is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I still need to get mine.
I know you do, Doreen. I'm so sorry we couldn't connect last week on that fly moment. You were in town.
Well, I'm in there every Wednesday, so depending on what your schedule is tomorrow, maybe we can make tomorrow happen.
Yeah, tomorrow could work.
Okay.
So text me in the morning and we'll get an idea of how I could meet up with you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, don't forget that Doreen and I are neighbors too. So if I'm coming out to get something from you and she needs something, you could always ask me to drop it off at her place for her.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So that's, hey, however you guys want to work it. You both have my numbers. Happy to. All right, you guys.
You asked for a gripe. I have a gripe.
Go for it.
It really bothers me that I cannot be in my child's classroom to observe how the teachers are teaching. Mm-hmm. It's really, really frustrating. And I know we all feel it. All of us that have kids in the classroom feel that way. And I'm like, I just can't wait for these COVID clinics to happen and the majority of the staff to get inoculated so that we can then maybe be allowed into the schools. Mm-hmm. It's so difficult to not know how my kids are being taught, and just that morning drop off, the afternoon pickup, when you see the teachers interact with them on the playground, all the different things that you see when you're in a building. Mm-hmm. And you can't do it now. And so that's my gripe right now.
Yeah.
I trust Isaac's teacher very much, but I really miss going in there and playing with the kids and reading them books and stuff, and go in there and just do activities and stuff like that, and getting to know the kids that my kids becoming friends with. So it's challenging, but she said we're working out to like where maybe I could come and join them outside, and that won't cause any problems. So hopefully that would be nice to get out there and play with the kids.
I definitely feel the same way. I think Dana, your son and my son are in the same class, aren't they? So Miss Sunshine left, and I didn't know who his new teacher's name was for over a month. I've never met her. Miss Sunshine, GSRP, they come to your house and do their visit. I've met Miss Sunshine. We actually became really good friends. I still talk to her. but I never met this lady and I didn't know who her name was. And it was driving me nuts, especially when Oliver was in GSRP. I went and just did a day and I felt a lot more comfortable, and I can't do it this time, especially with my middle child who has a little bit of learning disabilities. It just scares me, and especially if I don't know his teacher. I had to play the guessing game with him. And
Well, we did get letters sent home, so they may have just disappeared out of the backpack for you. I apologize if that happened, but we did get letters home, and then Miss Natalie did contact me, and we did a video conference right after she started.
Is it Miss Natalie?
Natalie, yes.
She told me Miss Stephanie.
Miss Stephanie's the assistant that's been in the room the whole year.
Okay, we're somewhere on track now. Miss Natalie, she called me.
Yeah.
Because I missed my meeting, because I'm good at that. But that's the only contact I've ever had with her. Besides Eli bringing a cell phone home yesterday. Yeah. Apparently it's a play one.
So yeah, that has to be tricky with a new teacher mid-year, and to get to know the kids and all the COVID weirdness and regulations. And if she's a new teacher, I can only imagine like how
she is. This is her first classroom experience.
Wow.
Ever.
Okay.
She's
Out of
younger than me,
college.
and I'm always the youngest.
Oh, you guys need to give her a special, like send little goodies to school for her. This is gonna be really hard.
Oh, I've already spoiled all the teachers. You take my child for this many hours a day, here's a TV.
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, you are awesome. You're the bright spot in my day, willing to get out there and make good things happen for parents and walk the walk. So thank you. I'm excited to see people face to face at some point. Who knows when that's going to be, but if this is as close as we get, I guess this is it. Thank you. I'm hugging you. But if you guys have anything come up, I will send out just a little recap of what we talked about via email, just a regular old email, not coming through Constant Contact or anything. And I will just write down, kind of record who said they would do what, so we all kind of have a record of it. I'll try to keep us on track. And Camera and I will get the ball rolling with getting the nomination form for the parent support signs ready to rock. And I will also include, probably in an email, I'll make sure you're included as we get the word out to the neighborhood centers about how they can support the distribution of these signs. So that's our big project. It's going to be awesome. And if we get rid of 300 signs in the first month, it will be pretty amazing. We didn't talk about a stop date, but I guess it stops when the signs are gone and the money's out. I guess that's when we stop. So other than that, we'll keep going. And please reach out if you need anything. I was hoping to have one of those Meijer gift cards to give away today at the end of our meeting to send some lucky winner. But until then, if you're out and about in Traverse City and we find a way to connect, I'll buy you a coffee or something. How about that? That would be so fun. So have a great rest of your day. I know we've been sitting in meetings so much today, but I just appreciate you, and we will be in touch. And maybe we'll see you Thursday night with Rebecca in our book and Glennon Doyle.
Thank you too, Missy, for all you do.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a joy. It really is. I really enjoy my work, and you guys make that possible. So thanks for being parents and agreeing to bring another person into the world. So, all right, guys, we're out.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.